Hi everyone. So if you're watching this, then you may have already heard the news, read the title of this video, seen the thumbnail, whatever. Chances are you most likely know what it is I'm here to talk about today. 2 days ago, as of the recording of this video, a very good friend of mine passed away in his sleep. A very good friend by the name of Ben Rainer, or Head Geek Ben Rainer, as he liked to be called. I first became aware of Ben a few years ago on the John Campea show. He was a staple of that show. He was a main contributor of donations through Stream Elements. I believe that's what the... no, actually, it was before that. It was during the Super Chat era, when John Campea started taking Super Chats from viewers. And there was this one guy, Ben Rainer, with the Superman logo as his profile picture on YouTube. He was there every episode, every show, every day, and the guy had some really good questions and topics to bring up, and some really funny jokes. And really, he became just as much of a reason for me to watch that show as John Campea himself, oddly enough. And, yeah, he was the one guy that I always remembered from that show. Like, there were some other people from that show, from the live chat, that their names stuck out to me, but none more so than Ben. Anyways, some years go on, and the Schmodown community becomes bigger and bigger, and eventually it just starts to develop their own YouTube presence, Facebook presence, I should say, and Ben became a very prominent member of that community. And around the time when, as they say, it all went to hell, 2020, when Collider Live was cancelled, this guy, Ben Rainer, starts up this new Facebook group called the Media Sweaties Network, a place for fans of the various Collider shows and the various, shall we say, AMC Movie Talk alumni and Schmodown alumni that came out of that particular corner of the YouTube sphere. People who are fans of these people to just hang around, chat, and most importantly, just watch the various different shows, from like the John Campea show, and like just follow Mark Riley and Christian Harloff and the Action Guys and John Roca, Roxy Stryer, all the good, wonderful people that came from that particular era of the YouTube sphere, and also obviously follow the Schmodown as well. And around that time, I was devastated when Collider Live ended. That was my favorite show from that particular corner of the YouTube sphere. And just the cancellation of Movie Talk, and Heroes, and Jedi Council, Rule of Two, Riley's Roundtable. I can go on and on and on, just sit here talking about all these favorite shows, all these great shows that we all lost on that fateful month of January 2020. And that was before we knew how bad things were going to get. So I just sat my ass down and started doing what I loved doing back then, and what I was, at the time, very good at, even if I do say so myself, I did this long video celebrating all these shows, and that really got Ben Rainer's attention. And suddenly, I was on the radar of one of my favorite people from that sphere. Like, I was legit a fan of the guy. Little did I know how that fateful video was going to, where that fateful video was going to lead me to. But he posted it on the Media Sweaties network. He made me, just anything that I post on that Facebook group immediately gets approved. No need to wait for an admin. And we started contacting. We started chatting over on Facebook Messenger. And we started sending each other funny jokes and such. And then obviously we got a little bit closer once the lockdown happened. And we both bonded over the best thing to come out of 2020, the Flirten Flaus. We both bonded over that. We sent each other jokes and funny pictures and memes about the Flirten Flaus. And, you know, the weeks went on. I was fired from my job. My dog passed away. And he was there for me. He was there for me. A guy who didn't even know me. Just comforting me and helping me get through the tough time that I was going through. And then he reached out to me and said that him and some other friends from the Media Sweaties network were putting a show together called Get Sweaty, and they were looking for an editor, someone to make an intro video and someone to work on the first few shows that they did, because they weren't live and they wanted the first couple of shows to be recorded and just to look good as much as possible. And of course I said yes. Obviously I was recently out of a job. I had the time and I really wanted to help. I really wanted to do something to help the community, so I helped. So I did. And oddly enough, they liked the first couple of drafts that I did for the show, where they really liked the intro that I made for them. A few episodes later, I asked them if I could be on one of their episodes, because they were specifically talking about the Mufasa prequel, the prequel sequel to the live-action Lion King. And of course, I had to be there. And that was when I was introduced to Soda, another really good friend of mine. That was my introduction to just being on camera as part of this community for the first time. I've been doing stuff on my own for like years, but that was my first introduction to doing live shows through StreamYard with these people. And I started coming on to their shows more and more, and then eventually became a regular on Get Sweaty and invited to more shows. Like, I believe at the time it was called Shooting the Breeze with Ben and Matt, a show that him and Soda did together. I was on, and I was invited to some of Ben's other show, Mount Schmodown. I did a lot of stuff with Ben, and to the point where it was no longer just me fanboying about this guy from this one YouTube commenter from another show that I was also a fan of. We became buddies, and in time we became friends, really good, close friends, and I do consider him one of my closest friends ever. Him and Soda and Taco and Ryan and Snark and Frenchie and this wonderful group of people that we've cultivated, and over time we became almost like a family in a way. And Ben loved the Schmodown, and so did I. We did a lot of shows about Schmodown, and obviously I'm not really going to get into the politics here, but some things happened in January 2021 or 2, I can't remember. No, it was definitely 2022, about a year ago, that really just made Ben really sour with the whole YouTube community, and he decided to step back from doing Schmodown related stuff. And so did the rest of us on the Northern Entertainment Group. That's what we called ourselves by that time. And it really saddened me to see this community that Ben put so much work and effort into cultivating effectively tear itself apart. But we stayed in touch. I was a guest on his shows a lot of the times. He was a guest on my shows a lot of the times. And even after the Schmodown ended late last year, we stayed friends. We still had lots of stuff to talk about. We still did our show, me and Soda and Ben, every week, almost every week. And we made each other laugh. It was no longer about the Schmodown. It was no longer about just talking movies. It was just the three of us hanging out, busting each other's balls, and just being friends with each other. And that's gone now. That's gone now. Well, I'll get to that, but so I'm not gonna really reveal a lot of the specifics of what happened. I don't believe I'm the right person to do that. I will leave that up to Soda and members of Ben's family if they feel it's right for them to do so. That is not my call to make. But Ben was pretty sick last week. He got sick early last week, and it only got worse as the days went on. And then finally on Friday last week, he passed away peacefully in his sleep. Just went to sleep and never woke up again. And honestly, sad though that I am, at least he didn't suffer. At least it was painless. He didn't even notice it. He didn't even realize it. It was just... And honestly, I wish we all could just, when our time comes, just no pain, no fuss, no dragging and weeks and months and years of medication and treatment and just pain. It's just go to sleep peacefully and just go. That is just, if given a choice, that I think is what a lot of people would choose. And well, while it was peaceful and painless to him, obviously the rest of us lowly mortals have to deal with the pain of his passing and the situation that we're left with. One of the things that really pains me the most is that I can't, there's just so many things I can't share with him anymore. Me and Soda, we used to send each other funny memes and pics and stuff we liked all the time. And now it's gone, and I can't ever do that again. I can still send Soda some funny pictures, but it would not be the same without seeing Ben's reactions and making him laugh and making him smile, and just him making us laugh and smile, and just the way we used to talk about movies, and just the way we used to test each other and just bust our balls each other on every day on every time we did a show together, just poking each other, making each other just snap. And that's going to be gone now. And I've already talked to Soda. For now, for the moment, we are still going to continue doing the Northern Countdown, because even though it started as Get Sweaty and sort of evolved into Northern Countdown, that was his baby. That was his show, the show he wanted to make, and the show we spent the most amount of time doing. And to quote Dumbledore, to paraphrase Dumbledore, not to continue that show would be an insult to his memory, I think. And I think in his honor, in his memory, me and Soda both agreed we gotta continue that show. I'm exactly 100% sure how it's going to look like from now on. It's definitely going to still have the two of us, and maybe some guests that we can maybe rustle up and find on Sunday mornings. Imagine how tough that will be. But for Ben, we gotta keep the ball rolling. The show must go on, as they say. We were supposed to record another episode of Northern Rewind talking about Titanic. Obviously, that was put on hold because of what happened. But me and Ben decided me and Soda decided that we're still going to go with that, and that is going to be the last episode of that show. Because to do it without Ben just doesn't feel right anymore. Because that was mainly Soda and Ben's show. I was just guest starring on a few of the episodes because I had some time off recently. And aside from that, this month, the month of January, I don't know if I think it's a little too early to say, but we are planning something. Me and Soda and the rest of the guys, we're planning something for Ben. Just I don't wanna speak out of term, just in case I say something that wasn't meant to be said just yet. But anyways, that's just me venting about the fact that Ben is gone now. And I've seen a lot of other people, the outpouring of support from people on the various Facebook groups and the Twitters. And even though the realm of social media can be a horrible place to live in most of the times, it's moments like this that remind you that we're all human, we all have people we love, we all lose people we love, and we all, at least in one way or another, cared about Ben. And everyone had something to say about the guy. He touched a lot of people, and he meant a lot to a lot of us. And I talked to Soda yesterday, and he agreed that Ben was our John Schnepp, that he was the John Schnepp of the group, taken from us way too soon, the sweatiest of the sweaties. He was the head geek, and thus he should be remembered. And what I love most about this is, even though we didn't get to have him for too long, he spent the last few years of his life doing what he loved and doing what he always wanted. Just doing YouTube shows with friends, talking about the movies he loved most of all, and the TV shows that he loved most of all. And what a way to live, right? Doing what you love. He spent the last few years of his life living the dream that he always wanted, and good on him for that. And I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else I can add. I think anything else will just drag this video down. So it's gonna be tough. My brain still hasn't well adjusted to this. I'm like, oh, you idiot, Ben's still alive. No, don't be silly. He's still around. Yeah, we're gonna see him on Saturday for Countdown. We're gonna have him on our show. You're gonna be a guest on his show. It's fine. Everything's fine. Just the feeling hasn't quite set yet. And I'm terrified of the day that it will. It's gonna come eventually. It's gonna come to me when I see a photo of him, when I see an old video that we did together. I'm gonna do a video commemorating his memory, and I'm just gonna look at some of the footage that we shot together and just gonna break down and cry. And that's when the feeling is going to hit me. And I'm terrified for when that happens, but that is a bridge I'm going to have to cross eventually. Just as Ben regrettably had to cross his bridge into hopefully a better place. Hopefully he's in a much better place than the shit show we've been living in the past couple of years. And hopefully he's happy. That's all I can hope for at this point, wherever he is. So, thank you for watching, if you have, and Happy New Year, and rest in peace, Ben Rainer. Goodbye.